Okay.
Okay, let's see if it catches back up. Shove my big fat thumb on the screen. Let's see if I can see it. I think the stream is going again. Although now I don't see Hydra's video.
Yeah, I don't know why that is happening. Because I'm still streaming on Discord.
Hold on. Let me I can see your video on my desktop. Okay, hold on. Let me do something.
It's still buggy.
Oh,
Someone
delicious human noises. I lost all sound. Oh shit. Flynn everyone's wow. The fifth member has been very very nice to us of late. And
Yep.
it just took a giant shit right in our faces.
Okay.
Come back.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, let's see if I can get this video feedback.
Oldest trick in the book: unplug the headset, plug it back in.
Okay, I think your video's back, Simon. Although, is it reversed now? Did you reverse your video?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that might have been what screwed it over, because I had your window cropped to crop out your water cup a second ago, and now I have to recrop it.
Okay.
I thought a new laptop would get rid of the fifth member.
That's your first mistake. I bought a new laptop. It was worse than the old shitbox. Well, it's not worse than the old shitbox. It just had different problems.
He summoned
Oh
it.
no, this is bad. No, the fifth member went completely mental on my laptop. You could barely boot it up. It'd take an hour.
Uh-oh. So you got a new one?
Yeah.
Good man. But this is the one you're using now that just capped on you?
I think it was like because I haven't like used any Discord or anything else. I think I just pressed. I went to increase the volume, and all my sound just went on the headset.
Weird.
So as soon as I unplugged it, it came back.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're back. All right. Now that we're back, now that we're all here, right? We're all here.
1,
and
2.
We have non-crunchy audio. I'd like to. What is this? How many minutes in? Oh, this isn't accurate anymore. 2 minutes in? 4 minutes in? I'd like to welcome everyone to the #1 Tyranid shit show on the internet. You know you're in the right place because we have crunchy audio to start off with. But thank you for persevering through that to join us for today's episode, which is going to be a very special episode as we have the Professor Hydra here to teach us all about color theory, which is something that I didn't think I needed to care about, but he's going to let us all know why we should care about it. Unfortunately, we don't have Highfleet Moloch with us today. We may be joined by Symbio Joe. I asked him fairly late in the game if he could sub in. But yeah, Highfleet Moloch is feeling under the weather. I'm feeling tired, man. I've had a long week, but I'm here.
Oh, that's good. So I can jump in and talk a bit.
Well, the first thing you have to jump in on is to tell us what part of Rick Priestley's mansion we're coming to them from this week.
Oh, geez, yes, we are coming straight to you from Rick Priestley's paint pot.
Coming to you live from Rick Priestley's paint pot. But what room of the house is that in? Where do you find Rick Priestley's paint pot?
I would say in the cabinet.
The paint pot is a room.
He's got old latex paint down there, Games Workshop paint, spray cans. It's just a paint pot. I picture it like a giant bathtub. He just pours random paints
You've seen
into.
the paint pot challenge?
What? Oh, that thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You've seen the paint pot challenge?
Nice. Yeah, I know that was not very creative, but I thought something with color.
Nice.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm not sure. Shall I just start off?
Well,
Maybe
I like
some-
that Diana said greetings for the time of day in your location to you all. So to you guys, that's good evening. To me, that's good afternoon. And if folks are joining us from Australia already, then that's good morning.
Oh, that's right. We are still an international shit show.
Yeah.
That's right. So do you want to start right into to color theory, Hydra? Did you want to talk about something else first, or?
I don't know. No. Well, we could sum up how our weeks have been.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about how our weeks have been. You get to
So-
start, Hydra. How's your week been?
Well, I think my very high, the top of things have been two things. First of all, I got a surprise visit last Sunday by one I would have not guessed to see in a good while. It was. I will come back to that later because it kind of explains why I'm doing this color theory thing right now.
Mhm.
And the other thing it was that yesterday was in Germany a holiday,
Mhm.
and although it's originates to be a Christian holiday, it's also dubbed the Father's Day. So after Mother's Day, we have Father's Day,
Yep.
which normally for everyone who's not a father, results in getting heavily drunk the whole day. And everyone who is a father cannot afford to do that. No, I don't. Um, yeah, so I was asked by my wonderful wife if I didn't want to have some of my father friends over. No, seriously, some of my friends over with their families and play that game we're all interested in right now. Because she tries to be on top of things, but yeah, I've rather quite often changed the things I like to play, or I would like to play. Not that I have played, but I wanted to play in the past like 2 years. And yeah, so she said, "So what are you interested in?" Currently, and I said, "Well, it probably is Sludge." And then she said, "Well, why don't you invite some of your friends who are interested in that game as well?" So what we did was we have gathered four dudes, me including, and our families, and it was amazing because we had kids from like different ages. One kid was half a year old, and it all worked. It all worked wonderful. From me asking if they have time, they all said yes, and then no kid got sick. Well, no nasty circumstances. It all went just smooth, and we had a wonderful day standing outside playing that game. And yeah, the kids were taken care of, but we were still around to be in there in case of emergency. Like, for example, my youngest son um, touched the barbecue at some point, and
Uh-oh.
yeah, that was shortly pretty exciting. It all went well in the end. Everything's fine, but we were quite excited for a minute.
I just pictured Gandalf. You have chosen the way of pain. Oh wait, no, that's Saruman. Shit.
Yeah. So yeah, that. But the game was. I played Sludge for the first
Frozen
time.
poorly.
What's that?
You've chosen poorly. Yeah, and it was the first time that I painted, that I played with
Yeah.
unpainted miniatures since like I was 14.
I saw
we're-
that comment. It's okay, Simon. You're allowed.
Yeah, no. It usually is strictly against my agenda, but you know, I had to choose either play or paint, and yeah, Yeah, so I played unpainted. They rolled the dice as they were supposed to as unpainted miniatures. They rolled shit
Yeah.
over and over. I couldn't, I could get just one attack through. Everything else was bullshit. But it was great fun, and we all learned the game. We all played it for the first time, and
Nice.
it actually that added to the 14 to the feeling of being 14 again, because no one exactly knew how this thing was going to work, and we all wormed our way through it, and but we all had great fun with it.
Nice.
And yeah, it's a very interesting gaming system where the brutality of the game of a battlefield is depicted on the table. Like, for example, even in computer games, like casualties are removed; they just disappear at some point because it would look all littered.
Yeah.
And in Sludge, they like all the violence is represented as in the form of a gore token on the battlefield.
Oh.
Um, and the more damage is done, the more gore tokens are on the field. And at the end of the game, the whole field was littered in body parts, which usually you have to, if you're that kind of guy, you have to keep in mind
Yeah.
like this is happening. But here it has like an effect on your troops, because the more gore on the battlefield is, the more stress is dealt to the fighters, and the other time they have to be efficient, and that is a very interesting game mechanic that
I've never
was
heard of that. That's cool.
that really well. I don't want to, just a very quick rundown. Like the first, like you have your commander, who is more of a support figure, not like a space marine chapter master in the front line, but
Yeah.
he's more standing behind the lines. And in the beginning, he's very good at just putting those gore tokens away, because
Yeah.
like there are very few long distance weapons. Like a cannon is probably the only thing that can shoot in the first turn, and it deals some damage. Someone is cut into several pieces by that cannonball, and the commander is pretty good with telling everyone to ignore that.
You saw
but-
nothing. Everything's fine.
yeah, you keep marching, because that was Kevin, and no one liked him in the first place.
Yeah.
And in the end, like there was, like for example, turn one, there were 8 gore tokens on the
Mhm.
battlefield,
Yeah.
and in the end, I think we had 30 or 40 points of gore on the battlefield, and every single unit was stressed, and that really depicts this Napoleonic warfare, where
Yeah.
they just march up, load up their gunpowder weapons, and shoot at each other, and stand there just shooting until one unit flees.
Yeah.
And I I have not played lots of different game types, so I can hardly judge if that is.
Sure you have. You've played Warhammer, you've played Infinity, you've played Frostgrave, you've
Yes,
played Apple Picking.
but there's so many different other types. Anyway,
Okay.
long story short, it gave me for the first time the imagery of a real simulation.
Interesting.
Because otherwise it's just like a computer game. You just remove the
Yeah.
casualty and everything, and now they are on the board.
Yeah.
And it is really funny. For example, when your commander has like 4 wounds, and
Yeah.
usually you would expect that if he has 4 wounds, he can only generate 4 gore tokens if he's been shot down. But if like for every wound, a gore token is generated, and if he's taking 15 wounds, he's generating 15 gore tokens, and that literally makes him being shot to pieces, and all those pieces splatter all over the battlefield.
Oh my god. Cool.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
as you can hear my voice, it was great fun.
Nice. I'm glad it worked out so well.
Yeah, that was me. How about
Flynn,
you
what'd
guys?
you get up to? Flynn, are you there? Or did your computer die again? Hello?
No signal coming from him.
Okay, well, I guess Flynn's super shiny new laptop
Nothing
has...
much really.
Oh, there
It's
he
just
is.
been a lot of.
We
Yeah,
couldn't hear you there. Now we can
I'm
hear
here.
you.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Now we can.
Yep.
We couldn't
Oh
before. All we
no,
heard
not
was nothing
busy.
much, really.
What? Again? Wait. There I am.
I can hear you
Okay, I
now.
had no idea. Yeah. So. Yeah. Nothing much really. I'm just been mucking about with the new laptop,
Yeah.
trying to figure out all the kinks with it.
Kinks. I didn't know it was a Slanishi
Not
laptop.
really much. Not really done anything modeling wise or anything. It's just with work, just getting stuff sorted out there, and it's just yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I've got to bring the Celestia continent somehow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just basically because a lot of stuff's happening at work, and it's just draining a lot of it. So
Oh, I get
when
that.
I'm off, I'm just like, all right, need to relax. But I have caught up on a bit of TV.
Yeah.
So I know we were talking about pre-stream, but Love, Death and Robots
Yeah.
volume 3. I know we've got Obi-Wan, the first episode is out. Stranger Things is out as well today.
That's
So I've only
today,
watched
I
the first half an hour of the new season.
Nice.
So
What do you
I've
think of
got a
it
lot
so
of
far?
that going on. It's just most days I've been in work all week, and you just when you get home, you're just like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not doing anything
Yeah.
else. And
Makes sense. What do you think of the
which
first
one?
half hour of Stranger
Stranger
Things?
Things
Yeah.
or
Stranger Things.
Love, Death and Robots?
I think, Flynn, you're getting my audio delayed. Are you listening to me
Yes.
on YouTube? Or are you listening to me on Discord?
Yeah, it's just because it's all like, yeah, I'm getting your audio very delayed.
Are you sure
This
you're
thing
not
is
listening to
like,
YouTube instead of Discord? Because you should mute your YouTube
YouTube
and
is
start your
muted. I don't know
Discord.
why I'm getting you so delayed.
That's really fucking strange.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's coming through very quiet when you speak.
Fucking fifth member! Ah!
Oh,
Hold on. I'll bring the mic over closer. That might make
I'll just close the YouTube
No, it
that I've
makes
got
it
open.
louder.
What? Is
Right,
that any
I'm going
better?
to close Discord again and then reopen it and see what was
Oh
going
my.
wrong.
Oh my. Okay. Can you hear me okay, Simon?
I hear you perfectly well.
People out there in YouTube land, are you hearing me okay? Let us know.
I do not know. I'm just going to...
Well, let's hope that fixed it.
So what have you been up to?
Me?
Yes.
I have not done as much hobby as I would have liked this week. I've done some work on these smaller Lictor boys to go with Big Lictor boy.
I don't know.
Oh my god, Flynn, you're clearly delayed. This is very strange. Yeah, so I've been working on small Lictor boys to go with Big Lictor boy, but not as much as I would like. My work is also pretty crazy right now. My new job has more to do with like local politics than my old job did, and we've got a provincial
They said
election.
it's kinks.
There we go. Kinks, yes, of course. So my new job has more to do with politics than my old job, which means that because we have a provincial election going on right now, that there's a lot. And like at first it was like, yay, this is so much fun. I get to do all these hilarious things to like kind of poo-poo the leading party because they're not friends of our organization, really. And then now it's kind of it's getting a bit long, the whole like election thing and the stress of it, because it looks like our existing provincial leader is probably going to get reelected, and he's not good for us and for like the people that my organization represents. So that's a bit sad that, you know, the majority of the people in our province are like, oh, we don't care, this guy's fine. So hopefully that changes, but we've only got like a week left in the election. So for good or ill, it'll be done in a week.
Okay. At least an end of the year.
Yeah, but other than that, I So I recently bought the Warhammer 40K computer game, Demon Hunter Chaos Gate Demon Hunters. It's basically like if you've ever played XCOM, it's like XCOM meets Warhammer, where you play as a squad of Grey Knights, and you're hunting chaos cultists and demons and shit like that.
Okay.
And if you're not familiar with XCOM, it's like a turn-based strategy event. So like, or a turn-based strategy game where I make like all of my plans and I move my guys and I like shoot the bad guys, and then I finish my turn and then they get a turn moving around and shooting my guys. Which is actually very like Warhammer 40K-ish. But I'm a huge lover of XCOM. XCOM, if you don't know and you like aliens, is a great game. It's humans trying to like, it's basically a human SWAT team trying to take out alien invaders. But there's all these like base management and like supply management resources and stuff that you have to figure out in addition to just shooting the aliens. So same thing in Chaos Gate, where you're these Grey Knights. You're like flying around on their ship, but their ship's busted up, so you have to like split your servitor resources between like fixing the ship and like upgrading your weapons and armor and recruiting more guys and getting like new war gear and shit like that. Yeah, and so far so good. Like, it's a little more cartoony than I thought it was gonna be, but I guess that's fine. I mean, Space Marines are boring, but I do love XCOM, so the XCOM is getting me. The XCOM love is getting me through the boring Space Marine parts. But yeah, it's okay.
Rated by Andy Serkis yet?
What's that?
Have you been berated by Andy Serkis yet?
Yo, Flynn, you're up to speed now. You're not delayed.
Yeah, I closed Discord and reopened it.
Okay. Andy Serkis does voices
Andy
in it?
Serkis given out at you yet? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I
He's
just
the guy
don't
who gives you
recognize
the
him.
missions.
Oh shit. Well, then I didn't recognize him. Yeah,
Yeah.
Elric or something. Edric is the name of the dude who gives me the missions.
They did some like 2 videos on Warhammer community when they were announcing it all, like where it was close to being released.
Yeah.
And they had Andy Serkis painting up a marine or something.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, I wish the thing I like about XCOM is that you can like customize your guys, and you can do a bit of that in Chaos Gate, but like you can only like everyone's male, whereas in XCOM you could have like male or female troopers, and you could like paint their armor like any color you want. You could put like weird patterns on it. You give them like face tattoos or like paint or whatever. But this is all like, you can customize the bling on your Grey Knight armor, but it's always going to be silver. Or you can change the head of your little dude and decide whether he's wearing a helmet or not. But you can change his like eyepiece or like his facial hair, but I don't know. Not as much customization as XCOM, certainly, but it's fine.
Yeah. It's Space Marines after all, even though it's Grey Knight.
Yes. The cool thing about it is that like they introduced this new functionality where you can like blow off parts of the enemy. Like you can like, if you land a certain kind of hit, you can like shoot off their gun or like shoot off like this other part of them to stun them, and then you can like execute them, and that like gives your guys more action. So it's got some neat shit in it.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's right. It sounds fun.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing a lot of Chaos Gate of late when I should have been doing model stuff just to like decompress. I've also had like a weird issue with my knee, which is annoying because I love biking and I've not been able to bike for like a week now, but the knee issue is starting to get better, which is good. I can walk more than I could before.
Is it your left knee?
No, my right. Why do you ask?
Because I have my left knee.
Oh, well, I injured my right knee a long time ago, like 15 years ago, and had like surgery on it. It wasn't like major surgery, but it was kind of like minor to medium surgery. So I think that ever since that, my right knee has been less strong than my left knee, because my left knee has had to like keep up and carry the weight when my right knee was busted. So this is more weirdness with my right knee, but it's starting to get a little better now.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we get to the topic on hand?
Sure. I mean, you're raring to go, buddy.
Good. So okay, then I start with my surprise visitor from last weekend.
Okay, yeah.
Who sort of kicked this
All off?
All off into
Yeah.
motion. So I had Zebo from the German
Mega
podcast
Potato!
start to over. Yes. Like as sort of a surprise, I wanted to send him stuff, and so I asked him for his address, and he said, "Well, yeah, now I have to say because you don't send me anything, because I want to visit you." But he is like he lives like almost 4 hours away from here, so there's usually
Wow.
yeah that's nothing usually would happen in quite a while, or would have been a very big effort.
I told you you're not allowed to leave me for him, right? I'm your one and only internet boyfriend. You don't get to leave me for Mega Potato.
I will never.
You better. Okay.
And yeah, so he went to a painting workshop, like an hour north of us.
Yep.
So he said, well, he saw on the map when he looked where he needed to go that he would drive just by me.
Yeah. Cool.
And so he figured he could, he wanted to send me something, and I wanted to send him things. So we just wanted to exchange things.
Yeah.
And so he stayed for about an hour, and then we needed to run. And long story short, he told me about his experience in this workshop.
Mhm.
And I was very curious about that workshop because I'm always eager to hear what they teach there, and have considered going to one myself, and all that.
Yeah.
And in the end, I came to the realization that that most of the content that he paid for to get to know was something that I was teaching my students in school.
Yeah.
And that really felt weird. So
Like, you should have gotten this from the public education system.
yes, that's free knowledge, and
Yeah.
someone is selling it to you. And
Well, that's Patreon. Like, that's my primary issue with Patreon, that people take stuff that they got for free and then they start selling it.
yeah, and I really I was moved by that. Let's put it this way: I was moved by that because for all the weird reasons, and I was starting to think what I should do with this info that I just got. That someone is sort of paying or selling information that should be or should have been told everyone who at least who has a higher degree on education. And on the other side, I felt like a bit as the stupid student that I've been, because I didn't care for French when I was in school, because my mother was a French teacher, and she wanted me to speak French, and I hated that fact that she wanted that, and therefore I, rebellious little brat that I was, refused to learn any French, no matter how hard she pressed.
Yeah.
And in my very early days of being a hobbyist, I really, the first blogs and serious hobby information were all in French, because the French were like the major force in converting, in painting internationally, and all the information were withheld from me because I didn't speak French, and that was really bothering me. And I was like, damn it, if I could have spent a little bit more time on French in school, maybe I would have had access to this now.
Hey man, I'm just thinking about Blog de Cousas, one of my favorite blogs. That's all in French.
Yeah. See, you can speak French.
Well, I think they do English now too, but yeah, that's like Maxime is it Pastruel, the guy who works for Games Workshop, did all the Death Guard stuff.
Cool.
Anyway.
Yeah, long story short, I felt like that I should go back and see what I can drag out of my brain and the internet and my my teaching stuff.
So Hydra, is this where you tell us that you're starting your own Patreon and we all need to subscribe to get you to teach us about art stuff that you give your students for free?
Yes, exactly. You have to pay me like 525,000 billion lira, Turkish lira.
Internet cookies?
Internet cookies to get the link to the following document. No, seriously. I talked to my friend a lot about it, and we agreed on the fact that every information is only useful if there's a use for it.
Mhm.
For if you don't have use for an information, like if I don't see a need to learn French in school, I'm not motivated to follow it along.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I figured if I cook up a little bit color theory for you guys to review with me and uh, have like our miniature painting hobby in the back of our head, that might be helpful, at least to somebody, hopefully.
Nice. Thanks for putting it
Okay.
together.
Yeah, it was great fun, and I learned things as well because I tried I so here's the disclaimer. I tried to make this all these information as true as possible.
Mhm.
But still, although I have studied art, I have studied none of this. This is all coming from after my studies. So if you
Oh.
find any errors in this, you are free to keep them and do with them whatever you like, because it kind of makes sense to me, and I'm good with that. It's more like a working hypothesis rather
Yeah.
than like, you know.
Yeah.
Don't crucify me if you find anything that
You mean
that you
don't
have.
crucify you for your free information that you're providing to us?
Yes.
I'll promise not to do that.
Oh, people do that. You would be
Yeah,
surprised.
well, not on my
Okay,
watch.
so shall we jump into color theory?
Sure. Do you want to Do you want to share your screen? Do you know how to do that on Discord? Stream, start
It's
stream or something like that.
it is already there.
We already did it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me show non-video participants. Bloop. Okay. Watch stream. All right, everybody, kick back.
Yeah. He's
What?
so professional.
I know. Eh? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Let's see if I can rearrange some stuff here. Get this out of here. Get this. Put it over here.
Oh, that looks good.
Well, I don't know if that's any better.
I think if you keep it in 1/4 and just make it larger, that should be.
Okay. Oh fuck. What am I doing? Hold on a sec. Where's Hydra's icon? Unlocked. Okay, we're good. Color Theory by Professor Hydra. All right, take it away.
Professor Dr. Hydra. Okay. Color theory. Dear friends, why bother?
Oh, spelt it the American way.
What? How do you spell bother the British way? I use British spelling like all the time.
Is that wrong?
Color. Oh, you mean color? Flynn, are you delayed again? Yeah, you should have put a U in there,
No,
buddy.
oh, I think I'm delayed again.
Okay, well, I don't know what to do about that.
I think he left and he will be back in a sec.
Okay. All right, I think I'm finished fucking around. You go ahead. I think he was saying that you should have spelled color the Canadian / British way with an extra U.
Okay.
The proper way.
Floppy just said you spelled it the German way, a compound word. Yeah, okay, so why bother? I stuck with, I think I stuck with spelling color that very wrong way, that, you know, without the U, because I always get mixed up with too many of those. So why bother? I have been asked by several friends several times what to when they were painting stuff. They asked me things So what color would you choose here, and what color would you choose there? And I hope that this this little rundown helps you to make this decision yourself. But
Yeah.
because we all have like a certain intuitive way of treating of using colors, and of course we always can use the official color schemes for things. But as soon as you want to experiment a bit, um, you you know uh, you can either rely on what you always have done, or you can experiment. And here's a little a basis for that.
Sure.
We all paint things for an effect. So we either want to paint things for popping on the battlefield, or we want to paint things in a display cabinet, or we want to capture a certain atmosphere. But we always paint something for an effect. And the following things are to help you, understand how to use those colors to emphasize what you want to achieve. So a few things about color theory. The first and most important thing is there's not one color theory. There are different color theories that exist, and they have different basics and different goals. And this is based on how we perceive colors, and how we, how we understand colors, how we can see colors. Like, we all have sort of the same physiognomical background. Our eyes should work the same way. But, for example, if you're colorblind, you have a different understanding of colors. Or if you are seeing not 100% sharp, you have different, or the light, whatever. There are different factors. Another very important factor is we have access to all kind of pre-mixed colors already. But that has not always been the case. Like, artists for a very, very long time had to make their own colors, and that depended on what kind of pigments they had access to.
Yeah.
So color theory is sometimes really emotionally discussed topic. I had a trainee teacher who made me realize that because it is in like the professional world, in the art world, it's discussed like highly emotional. He said like he had people scream at each other on that topic.
Okay. Where did he work? What was his job previously to teaching?
He was a student, like it was in university.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So this is a red. No, this is a red. No, this is a red. Okay. So the next thing is that there's a prejudice that men don't see so much different colors.
Really?
Yes, and it had stuck for quite a while. This is wrong. As I said, our eyes work the same, or should work the same way. And if they work differently, that doesn't have to do anything with we have balls or not.
Yeah.
But the reason why it was believed that
Flynn's delayed.
the reason why
again.
I can tell when you laugh at the. It's fine. It's fine. We can just tell when you laugh at the jokes. It's good. It's good. Sorry. Go ahead, Simon.
No, it's okay. The reason why that was this observation, or people were thinking that this was the case, was because men have or can have a smaller vocabulary of describing colors in our tip. Because when two guys meet and one says, yeah, I'm wearing a red shirt, the other one doesn't go and say, well, is this a dark red, is this a wine red, is this red or whatever. Most, not all, but most men say, well, red, green, blue, yellow, and that's it. They don't have
Yeah.
names for all the tones in between.
Most men who aren't nerds like us.
Not nerds like us, because we have the beauty of color names. So when I say I'm using game color dark green, everyone can look on the internet how that name is,
So
or how
are we
that.
talking like Alpha Legion teal? Or are we talking like Sons of Horus teal? Like,
Yeah,
there we go.
exactly that. And this is very important to color theory, because we have to keep in mind that whenever we describe a color, we compare it. All the names are comparison, like sky blue or blood red or bleach bone. It's all like the color is compared to what we see. And we are lucky to have those. We have like a code that is working for wherever you are on the world, you can pick up the same color because of the internet. Yay! And the next important thing is that colors you see, especially when you're using a screen, can be warped by your screen settings. So when I see, for example, I don't know, a blue hue in a white, that might be just my screen and not, Okay, so we can agree that you cannot agree on anything completely with colors. And to give you a few examples, like different people have tried to organize colors by sorting them in a wheel. So what we have here is a color wheel by the German dude Goethe. And there you can see that certain colors are organized in a certain way, but they are all very toned down. Then we have this color wheel by Herrings. This is a very easy way of like a simplified version of the color wheel, because he is like the outer ring is describing the mixture of colors. So how much percent yellow, for example, and how much green I would use. The problem
That's really
here,
cool. I like that design.
yeah, the problem here is that this green appears to be a fixed color. But green has so many different types of green that the whole green spectrum would differentiate greatly. Or blue, for example, like what kind of blue is this? So he had certain pigments he used and sorted them in a way he felt comfortable with, and he saw certain things work for him. And in German schools, like every fifth grader is taught this color wheel by Itten, and this is discussed very heavily. And some, frankly, say that this is wrong. And we'll see in a bit that it, at least wrong, may be a strong verb for it, but it has it short foldings. But Itten has for the coming things that I want to show you, has defined a few things which are, at least to me, make absolutely sense, and therefore I'm repeating them, although other people might say that his color theory is wrong. But it makes sense to me, and when you're working with little kids, it makes sense to them as well. And when it makes sense to little kids, I think it can't be so wrong. So he defines with 3 colors as primary colors, which is red, blue, and yellow. And he says primary colors are the colors that cannot be mixed backwards. So as you cannot, mix blue by mixing green and violet, for example. So these are colors you cannot mix. And then he goes by like having secondary colors and tertiary colors, which are basically just all mixes between the primary colors. And then we have even more. We have here the Lidl color wheel, and we have this is the creator of the HSV color system. Well, I'll come back to that in a bit. So now that we have understood that there are color wheels and that there are different color wheels and they have different ideas for how and why they sort the colors as they do, we have to come back to our good friend Itten, who did not just create a color wheel, but, and here comes the most important part for us, he defines color contrasts. And these color contrasts are, for that reason, important to us, because when we paint miniatures, we want to emphasize certain things. And to me, the word contrast is like another word for emphasizing things. For example, I'm not going into examples now, but we will see what I mean in a bit. So this is color contrast part 1. We'll have color contrast part 2 in a bit. So contrast is basically a relationship between two colors. What that means exactly, we'll follow up in a bit as well. A contrast can be used to bring something to the viewer's attention or to emphasize certain areas. Again, keeping this sounds very theoretically, but when you think about painting a miniature, like for example, a very stupid example maybe, but think about a Blood Angel Space Marine with a plasma weapon in his hand. How many people have painted that plasma weapon not orange? Because they want this plasma weapon to glow and want this color to pop, to stand out. And how this works is one contrast is the complementary contrast. So this is all based on the color wheel of Itten. And the idea of the complementary contrast is that he says that the colors that are opposing on the color wheel are making each other brighter when they are painted next to each other. So this is, for example, if you think about like a field of poppy seeds, yeah, a field which would be green, all green leaves, and the blossoms of the flowers would be red, so they would really pop out. So we will see that the complementary contrast has been used in tabletop miniatures like over and over again, but maybe not read it as strict as Itten has thought of it, like seeing that it needs to be opposed, but like being exactly opposed. But keep in mind that when you have one color on one side of the color wheel and you're using the other one on the other side, that gives you a great ability to emphasize things. Or, for example, if another great example, you have red, and you want to have a red that is slightly toned down. Not much, but slightly. You can mix black into that red, and it will immediately look like very, very dull. But if you mix the red, tiny, tiny drop of green, you will get like a toned down red.
Whoa.
Nicely.
Cool.
So this comes from a time when people did not have great access to like big amounts of black.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the complementary contrast in the wild. This is Jimmy the Gene Stealer, one of my works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say I have used the leader color wheel to make this to make him pop in the fleshy parts. So I have green for the skin, and I have magenta or pink for the tentacles and the claws. You would say, right?
Yeah.
So this make it complementary because green is on the one side and magenta is on the other side.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at those colors again, Is that right? So do I have magenta in this area of the head? No, I don't. Is this skin tone here really green? Not really. So this shows us that the color wheel is only like slightly helpful to start with colors, but if you want to paint strict by like a recipe, you will get nowhere here, because if I would have used a bright green and a bright magenta, the whole thing would have screamed to death in colors.
Oh, okay.
So we need to expand the color wheel a bit. And if you have ordered from a certain Spanish company, you might have gotten one of those color wheels as a sticker, as I did before I knew they were, not so good. But the beauty of it is that this color wheel is incomplete. So they have basically sent you trash.
You mean just like the time I ordered green stuff that was separated and it came touching?
Yes.
That kind of trash?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I went looking for a complete color wheel, and this is, as psychedelic as it might look like, this is the most complete color wheel that I have found. Because when we go back to the colors we had before, all these colors are like very bright and colorful colors. But when you look at Jimmy again, this is not the case. Like, I don't have a bright green here, and I don't have a bright magenta on its head. So the basic colors are, as you can see here, there are other color theories that try to show more completely all the possible colors that there are. And the HSV color scheme, for example, that I showed earlier, is the equator of this sphere. So in this sphere, you have not just the colors, like the primary colors on the equator line, but you would have white as the North Pole, and the South Pole would be black, like something like this. And then you would have like different mixture going from up to down. And then, as you can see here in the middle, you have the different grays. Like you would have pure gray in the middle and gray up and down. Like gray, you can mix colors with gray and make them change their appearance pretty dramatically. So here you can sort of get an idea how a color ball would look on the inside. But everyone who has used a painting app for stuff has maybe seen something like this. This is, on the outside you have like the quotation marks bright color, like the pure color, and then you have the ability to mix this color with white or black or all the mixtures of black and white in between, to have like all the different hues that this particular color can have. I know, this is lots. But it is important to understand why this complementary color didn't contrast work as it should. So this is the last part of color contrast for now. We have the light and dark contrast, which is the strongest contrast is generated by white and black, obviously. And the next would be by violet and yellow. And then we have different colors that contrast in their appearing lightness or darkness. Although you could start arguing at some point, is this blue brighter or is this yellow brighter? So this gets at some point very hard to define. But we can keep in mind, light and dark contrast is probably one of the most important contrasts we have for miniature painting. And the next contrast is called the quality contrast. Quality contrast, as shown here on a painting by Paul Klee, as I said, a contrast is like two opposing colors, and the one side here in the quality contrast would be saturated. So this is a pure, bright, colorful color, or a desaturated color. You get a desaturated color by mixing in grays or, for example, the complementary color. So if you have red and add a bit of green, you get a toned down, a desaturated red. Try that at home, kids. So, okay, light and dark contrast and quality contrast. Okay, let's have a final look at Jimmy. There are different contrasts we can find on Jimmy. So first of all, we have the complementary contrast. So the magenta and the green are on the color wheel on opposing sides. Then we have the quality contrast between the desaturated green I used for the skin and the saturated magenta I used for the claws. And finally, I have different parts on the model where I used the light-dark contrast. For example, when you look at the head, I have used like a dark violet for the back of the head and the lighter, stronger magenta for the tentacles up front. If I could have painted both in the same color, but it would have created like a very bright blob as a head. And here we have a nice transition from from dark to bright. Another example would be the eyes. I wanted to have black eyes, and if I would have had painted black eyes on this violet or the magenta, the black eyes would have not really popped out. They would have been drowned by the surrounding colors. So I painted the surrounding areas about the eyes brighter to make the eyes look darker. Does that make sense? Anyone? It's so weird to not see anyone because usually I have students in front of me.
I didn't realize that my mic wasn't on. I've been like, I've been like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense, and you didn't hear me.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I'm not alone here. In
You're
school,
not
at least
alone. I'm with you, my friend. That's cool. I didn't realize that you painted it like lighter around the eyes to make it look darker. I should do that. As I steal everything else from my scheme from your schemes, I should steal that too.
Yeah, but now you maybe have an idea why you steal. Why I made it.
Yes. So why it looks so good. Why I'm like, damn, that looks so good. I gotta steal that from Hydra.
So now we have a rough understanding of a color circle. And we have those three contrasts in our hands to use. So the next question would be, so you're starting a new army and you're wondering what you want to paint it, which colors you should use. Then of course you can go with the color schemes that are provided by Games Workshop, which all of them follow one of these rules that I have here. But if you want to create a color scheme your own, here is maybe a little how to do it, a little tutorial. So when you look at for a color scheme, the color wheel can be a good start. But please understand that these are not the colors that you need to, that you can only use, but these are colors that have like different tones as well. If you, for example, I wanted to use green for my Tyranid, and I did not want to use any of these greens. But when I look at the color wheel, I know I wanted to use a toned down green, so this is where I would start. So you can choose colors, primary colors by different reasons. For example, you like them, it's your favorite color, or you want to emphasize certain things about them. For example, why are Khorne Berserkers and Blood Angels red? Because Blood Angels blood is red, and Khorne Berserkers don't, of course, have something to do with blood as well. But blood has a certain cultural meaning to us. For example, it stands for aggression. And there are very funny situations when choosing a color scheme. For example, in India, orange is the color for monks. So it's a
Like
very
holy?
religious,
Yeah.
yeah, a holy, very very important, spiritually very important color.
Hmm.
And in the USA, the uniforms of inmates in
Oh
jail are
shit.
orange. So if you're designing something, well, we're here with like in product design. So if you're designing something for the North American market, you have to keep in mind that they have a different color understanding that they have in India.
Isn't
So
orange also like really important to Dutch people? Isn't that like the
yes,
color of their royal family or something?
yes,
Netherlands?
yeah. So if you mix that with a jail uniform, that would get people confused as well.
Yeah. And then
Um,
this is just random, but like in the United States, the color red is usually associated with like Republicans. Like they talk about red states, like conservative states, and
yeah.
then they talk about blue states, and blue states are more liberal, like they're Democrat states. Whereas in Canada, it's completely reversed. Our conservatives are blue, and our liberal are red. And then our like really left leaning party or more left leaning party is orange.
Oh well.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that's random.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect example for how colors are used.
Oh, and
Um,
also something that's become really big in Canada, the color orange is identified with the indigenous communities.
okay.
Because I think I might have mentioned this on a stream around that time, but there's this very famous story in Canada. Sorry, pardon me, a diversion to educate people on Canadian indigenous issues. There was a very famous story in Canada about a little kid who was forced to go to what they're called indigenous schools. They were not schools; they were basically internment camps for indigenous people, where they like tried to like teach and in some cases beat the indigenous values out of them. Anyway, this kid was sent to one of these indigenous schools, didn't want to go. So I think it was a girl. Her grandma bought her an orange shirt and was like, here's your like new, like brand new bright orange shirt so that you can like wear it on your first day of school so that you're not sad. And she's like, oh my God, I love my orange shirt. And the very first thing that happened when she got to that school, they took her orange shirt away. They're like,
Oh,
you can't wear
geez.
this. So now it used to be called Orange Shirt Day in Canada, where people would wear orange shirts to stand in solidarity with indigenous people. But now it's become the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation for like memorializing the children who went to those schools and in some cases died, in many cases died in those schools. Anyway, sorry, that
Yeah.
got a bit serious, but
It is a perfect example for how important colors are in our life,
yeah.
um, and how colors are used. And I think this is very important to keep in mind. Well, we're talking about little toy soldiers here, but you, dear listener, are constantly manipulated by color schemes to buy things. Because before your brain actively has decided if he likes anything or not, you have been convinced that this product is good or not by the amount of effort the company has put into designing the color scheme well or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it was Amazon or some company has made some research into why someone decides to buy something, and 80% of that was decided on the colors.
Wow. Okay.
And within seconds, your subconsciousness has decided if you like something or you don't, just depending on the colors,
Yeah.
if they suit you or if they don't. So yeah, so colors are very important to us. Of course, we are mammals that have our primary senses is like seeing. Um,
Yep.
And okay, let's get back to finding a color scheme. As you can see, there are different ways of getting a color scheme here. I would always advise to start with the color you like. Maybe it's pretty easy to find on the internet explanations what colors mean what. or what they stand for. Let's go with the obvious. Slaanesh is pink, and that's for a reason.
Flesh.
Yes, the lust. And so, for example, if I would want to make, an army, well, let's take my sludge army. I have never painted an army blue before
Ooh, me neither.
because it's ultramarines and I hate ultramarines, and I thought, well, I want to paint something blue for the first time, and that would that would put me in a certain area of the color wheel, depending on what blue I want to use and what hues. Well, if I want to use a strong blue or a grayish blue, whatever. But looking for other colors to match, I went to the color wheel and thought of if I want to emphasize something on that model, I would, use orange or yellow, because that would really, be the complementary contrast color, and that would really stick out. But I've decided to go with the first wheel here and just pick one color, and my one color will be blue,
Mhm.
and everything else will be brownish, brownish, grayish. Maybe a bit of sepia in there, so a very tiny hue of orange there.
Mhm.
But just to contrast things a bit, to make it not boring as fuck. But
Mhm.
I will stick to this blue pretty much. And on units that are very important, like leaders and things, I can go back to that complementary contrast and make things red or orange, so they will really pop out.
Nice.
But there are all kinds of different things. That what I also really like is like the down left, the part complementary contrast. So when you have a certain color and you go for the complementary contrast, this will be the highest amount of differentiation. So they will really make each other, stand apart. But if I have orange and I mix orange, for example, with green, it still is a great difference. But it's not, it's not the complete opposite. It still will pop, but it will not be screaming bright or screaming colorful. And we have not talked about black, white, and brown tones here, But brown is always just a mixture of all those colors together. If you want to have brown, you take yellow and red and blue, and then you have your first your first brown, and you can go from there. So as with everything so far, there's no right way to create a color scheme, since our perception of colors, their combinations, and what makes an impression of harmony to us differs wildly. So whatever you feel comfortable with, you should go with that, because it will be what you are, what suits you the most. Therefore, sometimes it's more enlightening for your own work process to understand how other schemes appear to work, or on what basis these decisions were made. So let's have a look at a few examples. Here we go. Back to the 80s.
Ooh.
As I said in the beginning, every color scheme has a goal. And as you probably know by now, Masters of the Universe is is a joy to me. And you can see how they have used different of those color schemes that I've described previously to make things work. So if you look at Skeletor, for example, they wanted to make his face pop as much as possible, because that's, his main feature is always the face. And they have not chosen to make it bone colored, but they have chosen to make it yellow, because yellow is the brightest and a very strong color. And they have paired the yellow face with the opposing blue and violets. Like his staff is pretty much magenta, his robes and armor or is somewhere between blue and violet, and his skin is blue. So that's a pretty strong complementary contrast. If you go for Battle Cat, that's the same. You have green and you have red on the other side of the color wheel, and you have green for the fur and orange stripes. This is like as close as you can get to complementary contrast as you can. On the other side, we have Merman, and the first designs for Merman made his skin blue and his armor and gear yellow. So again, maximum color differentiation by complementary contrast. And what's interesting to see is that they have used only bright colors, no desaturated colors, to make things work and to make them pop. Because that was what things looked like in the 80s.
Hey, that's good, man. I was raised in the 80s.
Yes, and therefore here's yours.
Oh shit! Look at you.
So in
Thanks
school,
for
I would
asking.
ask you. So if we were in school, I would ask you which contrast you could find here. But
Well, like I think there's some light and dark with like the carapace versus the skin,
yeah,
and the
and
pink
even
and is the pink and green complementary?
sort of, yes. But pink is sort of a hue of magenta, and green is complementary to that.
There we go.
I should have here. So green and magenta is pretty complementary.
Yeah. And then in my more recent stuff, I don't think it's pictured there as much. I went more like really well. You can see the weapons; they're more like violent green. Maybe
Yeah.
that's more in the yellow. I don't know.
Well, that's why I picked yours. As much as you like bright colors, when you look at your green for the skin tone, you have a saturated green there, so it still is pretty.
Because I stole it from you.
Yeah, it still is a different green. It's still a bright green, and it makes it, it doesn't appear dark, but it is desaturated, so you don't have like pure color in there, as you did with a pink. It still, at least on the pictures, looked a bit desaturated. It's still bright, but it's not like pink as pink.
Yeah.
And that's why those as you said, violent green weapons stand out so much in the group shot. That's why I implemented it here. Or for example, on the right with your brain bug.
Yeah.
It still is green, but you can see a contrast of this is a quality contrast. So you have a very colorful green standing next to a very desaturated green, and that's why the colorful green pops even more.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So and of course we have the light dark contrast in your carapace, for example, on your orc stealer. You have like emphasized certain areas of the back carapace with making it brighter, and have like taken back certain areas by leaving it dark. You could have, when you look at those lines here, you could have made those bright edges all the way up here, but they would have left the eye unsettling. It would have been all the same brightness, and therefore everything would have looked like being shown by shown on by a flashlight.
Right.
And this way, it is more attractive to the eye because it has dark areas and it has light areas. There's more to see than if everything's just bright.
I'm glad. I like you explaining my scheme to me and making me look like I was some kind of genius, because this was all a little bit random.
Yeah, but it worked, and this is, you are busying yourself with colors for such a long time without knowing it. So you inherently understand how to use them. You might doubt yourself in time, but you basically know how colors work, and I'm just here to explain why that is.
I guess also like we've all been in this hobby for some time, we've been exposed to like different schemes and like indirectly to color theory through that stuff, right? Through like Games Workshop schemes and all that.
Yeah, probably. We'll see. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
So we have here it's a bit sad that he's not here. But we have Marco's Highfleet Moloch and Highfleet Ouroboros.
Maybe we'll get him to actually watch one of these streams that he didn't attend by saying like, "Hey, we talked about your fleets. You should go watch it."
Yeah, and when we go back to, I was reminded that I pretty much commented on that the last time. Dear listener and dear watcher, go back to the last stream we recorded where you can see Highfleet Moloch in all its prettiness. And there
yeah, when he was going through all his models.
Yes, and he picked out at some point a very early model of his where he had this whole red thing, and he had all these bright green parts going on. And
and you hated it, and I loved it.
Yeah, and you are more 80s than I am.
Well, maybe I'm slightly older than you, so maybe that 1 year made me like more exposed to the 80s than you. I don't know.
Maybe. But you know, the reason why you liked it and I disliked it was because the complementary contrast was so strong. And I picked this kind of fix because he used it very cleverly here. He made certain things pop, but just a little bit. He didn't take it over the top as he did with the other things back then. He added like a green, which is complementary to red, to the tongue and to like certain parts of
vents,
the weapon.
I think are the vents green?
Possibly, yes.
The gills,
but
whatever.
It's very, very reduced.
Yeah.
And this makes the whole composition interesting because our eye has something to focus on. This is a contrast I have not talked about. It's called the quantity contrast. So you basically go by having large areas of one color and small areas of another color.
So sorry, you called that quantity contrast?
Yes.
Nice.
And you would assume that the larger quantity of color is the more important color, but the fewer a color appears in a painting or in nature, the more important it gets to us. Think about running through a forest looking for berries. The whole fucking forest is green and brown, but the thing you're looking for is bright red.
Yep.
So this is what your eyes will fix on. Like,
interesting. So if you want to emphasize something on your model, you should get a contrasting color and a very small amount of it.
Exactly.
Cool.
This is why your weapon things work so well.
Well, I worry that there's too much of them. I worry that I'm making them too big. Like there's too much bright green going on. Well, I need to dial back the quantity.
On the flesh bars, it works pretty well. Okay. And with a big weapon, you have added different colors to the head, so it still is sort of in balance. It's huge. When you look at the whole unit, it makes it work because here you have the quantity of the bright green is larger than the others.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you have like different models standing next to each other, you can also look at the how like the total amount of colors standing next to each other, not just one in a single model.
Okay. So
and
with
Mr. Moloch,
yeah,
and as Mr. Moloch has aged, his understanding of colors, although he would he would stay away from any sentiments like that, has become more delicate, as you can see with your massive gun beast here, because he again went back to the complementary contrast green and red, but he also used the quality contrast here. So he has a very desaturated green. He has green skin. He has green chitin plates or carapace plates. And he has like the flesh tones here are complementary to it, but as they are desaturated as well, they don't stand out that much.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that really stands out and people have commented on is the red on the tip of the weapon, because that is like a very, although it's a dark red, it's still a very saturated red. And so this contrasts great to the rest of the thing.
Flynn? Sorry, Flynn, did you say something? He might be delayed. Give him a second.
Yep. Oh, I just laughed at the red bit on the guns.
These are the dick jokes, people. Looks like a dick.
Okay, wow.
So you think this was a lot?
That okay, my delay is very long.
Oh, you can tell? Oh, okay. That's okay.
So that was my first installment.
Wait, what about High Fleet Hydra? Oh, wait, I guess you kind of talked about it with Jimmy the Gene Stealer.
Yeah. I kind of did.
Hold on. You guys keep chatting. I'll be back in a second.
I think Flynn just left.
I left and come back.
Oh, great.
The only way I can fix the delay, but as we go on, the delay just gets longer and longer. I do not know what is causing it.
Yeah. So floppy disk says quantity contrast is what makes you pick someone's eyes out from their face from a distance. Yes, sort of. But I think with eyes, it's also the location and the habit of looking into the eyes. Because I think you realize that when you look at alien designs, and the easiest way is to remove the eyes or put them in different places, or multiply them. So I'm just staring at one of my last additions to my Star Wars toys collection, and it's one of those Cantina aliens, which looks like a Sesame Street monster, but just with 4 eyes and no mouth. And the surrounding area around the eyes is pretty dark. Yeah, I think it's part habit, part quantity contrast. And yeah.
Sorry, did you want to if I pull up those like random High Fleet color wheels I put together, do you want to talk about them, or I don't know how you're feeling about that?
We can do that.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that Alam said I knew about the wheel, but not quantity contrast. Great! Then I have achieved my goal. Someone learned something. I'm done. I'm happy.
Check the fridge downstairs. Yeah, any other questions for Hydra? Oh, and Hydra, while you were presenting, I did. Oh, someone, Floppy Disk said Masters of the Universe is high art. We were talking about how pink is a good color. Apparently in India, pink is like navy blue in that it's a perfectly masculine color, which I'm all about because I'm all about wearing pink.
You would be laughing because at the start of or in mid 1800 in Germany, pink was or red pink was the masculine color as well. You can still see that in the. You can still see that in the German army because the colors of the the tank unit is pink.
I think in Victorian times as well, it was pink was the boys' color.
Yeah.
So it's maybe that was imported to India. I don't know if it like the approach to pink in India was imported by the British or it was already there before colonial times. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I feel like as a dude wearing pink, it's kind of like reclaiming the color and like challenging contravening like expectations and stuff like that, but it's very different for women. Like pink can be a very gendered color.
Yeah.
Wait.
I
Oh,
also,
and Hydra, while you're presenting, we did a little poll, and
yeah.
apparently 58% of the viewers spell color with a U, and 41% of the viewers spell color with no U. But that's
Yeah,
like there was only 12 people, so I think that's like 7 people spell it one way and 5 spell it the other way or something.
Okay, so Darth Bob asks, what is it called when you have a contrast between like textures? Like one area of a model is glossy and the other one is matte, or one area is metallic and the other one is pastel. The contrast I have been referring to are defined by the painter I talked about earlier, Itten. And his theory is all based on the color wheel and on painting painting with paints. So I don't think he bothered about glossy or matte or anything like that. But
Could be just texture contrast, like
yeah, I think what is more important is that you are aware that you can work with contrast, no matter if it's the quality, the quantity, the complementary contrast, light dark contrast. If you want to make something stand out, use all the colors you have or all the contrasts you have available. For
yeah,
example,
that's go ahead.
the glossy, like the glossy part. Um, on my lictors, for example, I have coated the as I said, the complementary and quality and quantity contrasting tentacles in the face, additionally by covering it in gloss and leaving the rest of the model matte.
Yeah.
This is just adding to it.
Yeah, and that's something like I keep meaning to play with on my nids, that like I keep picturing wanting to have like tentacle bits or like the pink bits be glossy and then like their carapace be satin, like not like full gloss or full matte, and then their chitin of like their skin be matte.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. And Diana, I am very happy that you found this informative.
Yeah. Thanks for doing it, man. I'm glad you just got so jazzed about it. You were just like, yeah, we're gonna do this. It's like, okay, take it away.
Yeah, you should. I don't know if you have, but I have sent you the link to this, and maybe you can add the link
To the document. Yep.
To the document, because what I have talked about, so my presentation is common knowledge. You can get it wherever you want, but I think if you have listened to this, it was maybe quick in times. So if you want to go back and look at the different color wheels and the different contrasts, again, these are not all of them. They're different. There are others, but I think these are the most useful for us right now.
Mm-hmm.
You should check this description later and see if you can, download the PDF.
Yep, I'll grab that. I'll put it in the chat now. And then I can put the description too. I think this is the right link. I'm gonna put this in the chat, and people let me know if you can access this or if you're having trouble accessing it.
Mm-hmm.
Hydra's presentation PDF. Oh, I wonder if I can edit the description while we're talking. I don't know. YouTube might die if I try and do that.
Boom, boom, boom.
No, this has been like super informative. And shame on you for not making that big sweet Patreon money. Selling this to people.
Yeah.
You're gonna regret that, man. You're gonna be like, that color presentation, that's where I could have earned my first $1 million.
Probably, yes. Oh Jesus. All the nerds out there being all now democratic informed and free knowledge and all that.
Look at you, you crazy commie.
Yeah, that's me. I always say what goes around comes around.
True.
I have learned so much from other people, and I cannot recall who I've learned things from, but I would feel so bad for charging someone to gain gain that knowledge from me that I have gotten for free from someone else.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Pick this line up very much from straight away from you, for example.
Well, I know that I picked up a lot of sculpting from you, so if I started a Patreon, it would all be going to you.
Ooh. Oh,
and there's other ways to monetize stuff. Like I do my sculpting tutorials on YouTube. They're free to watch. They're monetized through ads.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
hold on. Oh, look, my weed delivery is back again. If anyone saw my story.
Oh, Jesus.
Very helpfully, they're like, it will arrive tonight between 5 p.m. and 10:30 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thanks for nothing, Ontario Cannabis Store.
Okay, Floppy, this has been wonderful. I'm very happy. Thank you very much. And Darth Bob said, I painted my Tyranids using the Hydra method. Yes, the method of many heads. Okay, shall we look at those others?
Yeah, the only thing is I have to wrap this up in 15 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, this...
Because apparently Nora is starving and she already ordered dinner. And I was like, but I'm streaming. She's like, I'm dying. I'm like, oh, okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
So I managed to win us another 15 minutes. So I was just going to let the questions roll on unless people were happy with the questions and we could try to do a little bit of the other stuff.
Yeah.
So if people are done, I'll slap up some images. 1 sec.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I figured out what's caused my delay.
You figured it out? Or you're trying to figure it out?
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's
new laptop's not
Hydra stream.
What?
No, it's like there's a little notification message at Hydra stream. The stream you're viewing currently has reduced video and audio quality. This may be due to network conditions. So I think as soon as I click onto it, it just delays me so I can keep the quality and everything.
Hydra, do you want to stop? Oh, how do I stop your stream? Oh, there we go. Yeah. I'm gonna hide.
Yeah.
Non-video. Oh, what the hell? What the? What? Can you stop your stream, Hydra?
Of course.
Oh, stop watching. There we go. I got it.
There we go.
Non-video. There we go. Add it.
Hopefully that's fixed it.
Okay, so Hydra, what do you got to say about the classic Tyranid Hive Fleet scheme that was pretty much what the original Tyranids were, even though they modified it for 3rd edition? Hive Fleet Kraken, whatever.
Kraken. Well, it basically depends on what picture you take. For example, what we have now is it's all so desaturated to make it, almost look like there's a sepia filter over it.
The pictures I chose were not. I went the art route and I pulled like art for all the fleets, but like you can comment on it like the way that you remember it. Because this is like the red armor plates, the bone, chitin. I don't know that there was much other colors in there. Like I don't remember what the vents were painted.
Yeah, well, I just grabbed my I just grabbed my my 4th edition rulebook.
Nice.
You have red,
the best one.
Red armor plates. You have like green weapon parts, and you have loads of bone colors. Of course, the green and the red are complementary contrast, and the red is really bright, and the green is really bright. So you have like this is to make things really pop As I said, red has a certain meaning. It stands for aggression and for yeah, strong emotions, I would say,
Yep.
to summarize it. Um, yeah, and that is to emphasize the furiousness, I guess. And what is interesting is that the bone colors, if you look at your fourth edition codex and look at the little hormigons, you can see that in the recesses of the bone colors, it's also reddish brown. So this makes like for almost the same tone, for the same color, just the skin is just brighter. So it makes, I think, although there's a pretty strong contrast in the red and the bone color, it still doesn't look very bright, or no, it doesn't look very colorful, like very 80s. It makes it all feel homogenic.
Yep.
If you would have used like a greenish wash for the recesses of the bone colors, then this would have turned out quite differently. Would have had a greater contrast.
Nice. Okay. Next up. You got it right there. So let's do. Oh wait. Let's do my favorite of the Games Workshop stock schemes. Ba-bum! Oh fuck! What have I done? There's too many things on the screen. This is a bad picture, but this is a cool piece of art and a shitty reference for a paint scheme. So I'm glad you got your codex right there. Behemoth or Behemoth.
Behemoth.
You want to pronounce things. So tell me
What's
about
that?
Behemoth. Oh wait.
Behemoth.
So red skin, bluish, uh, bluish carapace, or let's say dark carapace with white tips.
Yep, that's the carapace that I identify with. That's not how I came to my carapace color, but when I think about my fleet, I think of it as a splinter fleet of Behemoth, because I've been doing Tyranid since 2nd edition, so my fleet should be old, and my carapace plates are kind of inspired or similar to that.
Yeah. So when we go back to the color wheel, or you look at the color wheel you have on screen here,
Mm-hmm.
you see that red and that hawk turquoise is pretty much opposing.
Yep.
Well, it really depends on which color wheel you choose, because this color wheel you've chosen here has this very bright blue in it,
Mm-hmm.
opposing to the red.
Yeah, this is
And
the color wheel you sent me, so I'm not. I have no
yeah,
attachment.
I'm just pointing this out because it makes it it is important to understand that different color wheels have a different meaning,
Yeah.
and this color wheel has uh, this bright white, almost whitish blue in it. Um, and in other color wheels, this blue doesn't exist, so there would be a transition between blue and green, which would lead us to a color like hawk turquoise. So we would have had red and hawk turquoise be almost complementary, and this is why this color scheme works so much.
Gotcha.
Because we have again, like we have sort of a quantity contrast here. The hot turquoise is very in the amount compared to the red is very set back. So very in a very few places, and you have a strong light dark contrast on the carapace. So you go from dark, almost black, to this almost whitish hot turquoise mix on the edges.
Mm-hmm.
While the skin tone is pretty much the same hue. It doesn't have like so much brightness in it. It's all pretty toned down red brownish.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also like, again, the play with different contrast at the same time. Like you have the complementary contrast, you have the quantity contrast, and you have the quality contrast as well. The red is not screaming red as it has been on High Fleet Kraken.
It seems
but
pretty red. Like you honestly think that red is more subdued? I always think of the Behemoth red as being very vivid.
At least on the picture I'm looking at is
in the codex, yeah, okay.
yeah. It's rather toned down, but it depends on how much you want to emphasize something.
Yeah.
This looks more natural. Desaturated colors always look more natural,
Yeah.
like it actually happen on a in real life.
Mhm.
But like certain color schemes for Tyranids try to emphasize its alienness by choosing colors that are very vibrant and very strong, that would have like no survival part in our nature. Like
Yeah.
our nature is most of the aside from spring when everything is in full blossom, everything is pretty desaturated. So if you want to camouflage in that area, and everyone wants to camouflage, the hunters and the prey want to camouflage.
Mhm.
So everyone is using toned down colors. If you're screaming pink in the forest, everyone can see you and everyone will eat you.
Mhm.
So certain color schemes for Tyranids try to reverse this and appear to be very colorful and very bright to make it more alien.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Speaking of alien, let's do the other main scheme just before I have to run.
Yeah.
Get rid of this guy. Yes, go away. And let's go with Leviathan.
Oh yeah. The color scheme I like the least.
Yeah, well. Although it looks pretty good there with like the red claws. So what do you have to say about Leviathan?
Um, it really depends. So as Games Workshop has done before, as for example the Kraken, if you look at those homogons and termagons on this picture down here,
Yeah.
it works pretty well because it looks very homogenic. So we have a very small complementary contrast in the yellow of the eyes and the violet on the carapace.
Mhm.
You have the recesses of the termagons violet as well. This makes the bone color harmonize with the carapace pretty well. It doesn't
Mhm.
set it apart. And yes, the red for the talons appear to be a natural decision, because when you look at the color wheel, violet and red are very close to each other.
Mhm.
But to me, the red competes too much with the violet, because the violet has this very bright edges,
Mhm.
uh, and the red is also very bright on the tips. So I don't like the red.
Gotcha. This one actually, like, when I was pulling these together, I was trying to like place little markers on the color wheel for where the different colors sit. And I felt like with this one, all the colors felt like they were all over in the same area on the color wheel.
Yeah, so this would usually make for a very homogenic color scheme,
Yeah.
but the problem with being homogenic is when you look at this conifex here, there's so many different things that compete with each other, because you have a bright skin, you have the bright red, you have the bright fleshy bits here, you have the bright edges of the carapace. So this whole thing looks so busy, and the red adds to the busyness of the model. So you have those little red dots here and there, and to me, it makes it very, very crowded, and it's hard to find a focus on anything. And usually, you would say the focus should be on the face or the head,
Mhm.
but they try to emphasize the weapons here and or the thorns and make it thorny, but
Mhm.
because of the fact that the color scheme of or the color of the skin is so bright, the brightness of the color of the skin is competing with the brightness of the red, and then,
Ah.
and this makes the whole thing just bright. Like everything's bright, aside from the dark areas on the carapace.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Leviathan, but I guess the only thing I like about Leviathan is like the creepy, like almost fleshiness of the skin tone. And I think that someone like Craftsman Jono has done a way better job of like creeping out that skin tone.
Yes,
Like
yes,
going more pink with it, more fleshy, more like spoiled meat kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I actually like about this kind of effects really, really much is the feeder here from the
Yep.
bio cannon. This looks like the only natural thing on the whole assemblation. It also
Yeah.
is the only thing that's really shaded, because here you have, I think if you would paint it with sort of a source light, where you would have like shadowed areas below and stuff like that, you still could go for color, for bone color on the skin. But if you have like a transition of shadows in it, that would make an orientation on the model easier.
Yeah.
But this is just bright.
All right. I think we're gonna have to call it at that because I gotta go have dinner with Nora. But Simon, thank you so much for running the show this week with your color symposium. Has anyone got comments before we shut down?
If you like this, click like, subscribe, ring the
Thank
bell.
you. Yes. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. And yeah.
If you like, if you think that this was worthwhile and you think this was informative, please let us know, because there's more.
Floppy was asking, would you consider color temperature to be a type of contrast, Hydra?
Of course,
like
this
warmth
one
to
of the
cold.
contrasts I have left out. So there's a contrast called the temperature contrast, the warm cold contrast.
Yeah, and like for anyone who's not familiar, like warm colors are more yellow, and cool colors are more blue. Like you can get that when you take a picture on a camera. You can actually, I think you can do this in. Can you do this in Instagram? Somewhere there's a warmth slider. I think it might be in Google Photos. There might be a warmth slider. So if you take a picture inside with like, well, I guess these days we've all got like LEDs, but back when we had incandescent light bulbs, they would be more yellow, and you'd take pictures inside, they'd look orangey or yellow. Those are warm. And then when you use like a fluorescent light bulb like you'd see in a classroom, those are very cool. Those are very blue. Now you're getting into my photography nerddom. You still there?
Yes, I am.
All right.
And yes, those sliders are a great way to make things lively on it. But the whole warm cold contrast is a whole different topic, because it opens up other dimension.
Flynn, go ahead.
Nope.
Let's wait. He's behind. Let's see how far. Wow, is that like 30 seconds? Flynn, are you there?
I think I'm way delayed still.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, I am.
So Wickelbird just said, now I need a proper color wheel. The problem is you don't get one.
Yeah, everyone's got a different one.
A color wheel.
I'm trying to say bye.
Oh, Flynn's trying to say bye. Okay, thanks, Flynn. Oh, that's Nora telling me to get the fuck off. All right, guys, check the link. I'm going to put it in the description of this video as well to get all the color wheels that Hydra went over. Maybe we'll look at some more Hive Fleets next time. And yeah, thanks a lot for joining us on the stream. Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.